Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Moon Magic series with me, Jenny, the Mermaid Mystic. For anyone who's already watched this, you know that this is a series in which we are going through the moon phases, going by the new moon, waxing moon, full moon, and waning moon. And today we're talking about the waxing moon. If you haven't watched the new moon video, it's available on YouTube if you want to start from there. If you want to just like kickstart your moon magic journey and start at the waxing moon, by all means, start here. So without further ado, I have a visitor, Astrid. She will be my co-teacher today. We will dive in. All right. So firstly, why is this here? Okay, whatever. So the waxing moon magic follows the new moon, right? The new moon is after the dark moon. It's where we start to see just that little wee sliver in the sky. Waxing moon is where we start to see more and more of the moon until it becomes full. So it is a time of seeing more of the moon, and so therefore a time of growth. So for the new moon, we focused on new beginnings. So the seeds of the new were planted, whether that was a new relationship, a new career, or a new state of being, such as more confident or more joyful. Those seeds are planted at the new moon, and the waxing moon, we nourish and grow and feed these new beginnings so that they can be strong and they can withstand the testing of life and become integrated into our lives. And for things like writing a book, so they actually happen. So really simple that. And you can look at the waxing moon also very simply. You can look at it as like the day after the new moon all the way to the day before the full moon. There are a few different phases within that. Like you could view the waxing crescent, which is where it looks like a crescent. So less than half of the moon is available to see. There's the first quarter in which you can see half. And then there's the waxing gibbous in which you see more than half. And then some people find distinctions between those. They're still focused overall on growth, but like the first quarter might be kind of like a check-in point. It's where we're more aware of some of the obstacles. But if you're just starting your moon magic journey, you don't need to worry about those. And in fact, you can just choose to incorporate those or not. It's your practice. So for this though, just to get started, we are going to just focus on the waxing moon, this big period of time and between just after the new moon and just before the full moon. So readings at this time are going to focus on what is growing and how to grow it. Since this is a time of growth, of expansion, it's time of being seen, right? So the moon becomes more seen, we become more seen, putting ourselves out there. It's active. We're definitely doing things during this period, and it is also a time of abundance. So our spells and ritual can be in line with all of that, absolutely. But essentially, we have to take action during this phase. You've heard, I'm sure so many other people say this before, you can do all the readings you like till you're blue in the face. If we don't take action, not too much comes of them, right? So the waxing moon is a period in which, yes, we'll do spells or rituals, but we really have to take whatever the guidance tells us to do. We have to take that action in order for it to actually come to fruition. So waxing moon spreads can be super simple. So if at the new moon, it was like, what new beginnings am I growing? Then here could be just like 1 to 3 cards on what I'm growing and actions to take. And within those 3 cards, you could have both the messages of what you're growing and the actions as well. So for example, let's say you pulled the 6 of Wands, the Emperor, and the 6 of Cups for what you're growing and the actions to take. So this would suggest that you are growing in the 6 of Wands, a sense of positive public recognition, which sometimes you need for some of your goals, right? If you want to write a book, ideally, someone's got to read it. And if you want to start a business, you're going to need customers. All these ideas, right? If you want to be an actor, you need to get into some auditions. People have to like you. You get the idea. So in the 6 of Wands, we have this positive public recognition and success. In the Emperor, we have leadership and stability and abundance. And in the 6 of Cups, we have a sense of sweetness, innocence, and nostalgia. So if we're growing all of this wonderful success, all of this stability, all of this leadership, then the actions could be 6 of Wands, making sure that you put yourself out there. In the 6 of Wands, we're following our heart. We're not worried about what all the noise is. In the Emperor, we could be making sure that we've got really solid routines to bring our new beginnings into fruition. So the Emperor is like healthy ambition and organization and confidence and structure, discipline and routine. So we would know that not only are we building that, we need to do that in order for it to build. With the Six of Cups, you might be returning to something that you used to love when you were younger or even as a child. And it's just remembering that we can bring that back. But I always find with the Six of Cups, it's fine to be nostalgic, but careful not to be too rosy-eyed, not to romanticize the past too much. So we get this idea, right? So this told us what we're growing: success, positive recognition, stability, in accordance with something we used to love, and the guidance is within that as well. It could be more structured if you prefer more structured spread. So once again, like 3 cards is your bread and butter. It's more than enough. What we could do is the first card could be what is ready to grow this waxing moon. So again, if you planted new seeds, to be confident. And maybe within that confidence, it's like dance lessons. That's actually what you really want to do with your confidence, whatever. Maybe that's ready to grow. Then the next one could be like, so what actions do I need to take? If it's dance lessons, do you need to go out and find a dance school and sign up? Do you need to look up stuff on YouTube, like dance classes just to practice, just to get comfortable? And then 3, what general guidance do I need for this? One of the most powerful things of a tarot reading is the shift in perspective. How we view our life plays a huge role on how we shape our life. So when tarot can offer us insightful guidance or just perspective shifts, I would not underestimate this. So that can be kind of the idea here too. Now, you could also be focused on like specific goals. So if at the new moon you were like, that's it, I need a new job, period. Like you've got a hard and fast goal, then you can do your reading for that specific goal. So again, another example, I want to write a book. That's it, it's time. I've always wanted to, 'tis time. You could do this more structured spread for that specific goal. So for example, here so like, where am I at with this book? Just like getting an idea of where you are and what wants to come through you. 2 could be what will help me to write this book. And 3, what actions do I take at this time? Now that might sound obvious because you're like, well, if you want to write a book, you should like write. Anyone who has written anything knows there's considerably more to writing than just sitting down and writing, as essential as that is. So maybe the action being taken, however, you might need some writing classes. Like we need to learn about the things that we want to do. This might be of benefit to you. Perhaps you need to see a mentor, someone who reads your writing and gives you helpful feedback. Maybe you need to do some more reading. You need to read to see what you like and dislike in other authors to tell you more about your own voice. So these could be examples of guidance and actionable steps that aligns with the waxing moon and your goals. So if you do choose to cast spells, they're going to be focused on growth, on expansion, on abundance. But once again, we're going to come back to those readings to get a better idea of what exactly we need to grow. So for example, the writing the book is a very easy example. So writing a book, you might think you need more time to write. But ultimately, if you might need to have more belief in yourself, because even with all the time in the world, if we don't believe in ourselves, then it is unlikely we will, at least to some degree. You don't have to have like the ultimate supreme confidence, but some measure of self-belief, because without it, it's kind of hard to actually commit to those goals, to start them and then keep going. So through your readings, you might discover like your writing ability is not the issue. Time might be less of an issue than you realize. It is you that you need like more self-belief. And then you could do a spell, some kind of ritual or ceremony to strengthen your belief in yourself. And if you're like, how do I do that? In my new moon video, I give a few tips on how you can use the minor arcana to actually create your own custom spells and rituals. And that's the video again, that's up on my YouTube. Okay, my friends, easy peasy this one. Easy peasy, right? So we have our new moon beginnings and we're going to grow them. We're focusing on abundance and expansion, activity, and being seen. Now, we're going to do a collective reading for the waxing moon now. I'm going to do just really simple. I'm just going to do the 3 cards that represent what we are growing and then the action within that. So just a reminder, for the new moon, we pulled the World for the collective reading, which was so cool, which was basically like, you can succeed at the big dreams or the really meaningful dreams, the things that you really, really want. And it was planting those seeds of whatever those dreams are or believing in yourself. The World represents success that doesn't necessarily come easy. Like we'll have to work for it, but then therefore it's more worth it. And we gain a lot in the working for it. So what we'll do now, Astrid, are you going to help? Are you going to help with the reading, baby? What we're going to do now is pull these 3 cards for the collective. So if you're choosing to receive this reading, we just set this intention that this reading is healing, accurate, and relevant, and the very highest good of all. You want to blow on the cards, Astrid? Good. I do love the tarot. Okay, so I pulled 3 cards, and this is actually a really fantastic opportunity because we've got some cards that people see as like scary or bad, and we're going to see here how every single tarot card has challenges and has gifts. Okay, so the 3 cards we pulled for what what we're growing is the Queen of Wands. Okay, the 8 of Swords. Mm-hmm. And the 10 of Swords. So this is a fantastic example because, I mean, look at the 10 of Swords. You have like your little puppet figure stabbed with pins. It's not really encouraging you to go out and create a situation in which you are betrayed and betraying. But there's some kind of medicine in the 10 of Swords, and that needs to grow. So we will explore that. So for my friends with this reading, we'll start with the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is the queen of fire, the nurturer of fire in the tarot. This is a figure who is creative, passionate, sensual, confident, social, and sometimes known as the witch of the minor arcana. Fire is the great transformer. Fire loves to grow. Fire can make things happen. And that is very much the Queen of Wands. So this would suggest possibly, oh my God, look, sorry, the little black cat is just like my Astrid. So the Queen of Wands might be suggesting growing confidence, confidence in your creativity, confidence and enjoyment of your beauty, of your sexiness, of your sensuality. And it could also be encouraging you to grow into enjoying socializing to varying degrees, right? Like we're all unique individuals. Some people absolutely adore socializing and their energy grows through it. And some people like it, but in much smaller doses. So the point here isn't to feel like you have to become someone else. Rather, the Queen of Wands does enjoy connecting with others. So whether that's a small group or a big group, she does understand kind of the magic and the joy and the warmth of people coming together. So that could be board games nights with just a few people. That could be getting out there and going salsa dancing, at like a big salsa lesson thing. So we're going to grow our confidence, creativity, sensuality. The Queen of Wands is also very magnetic. This person is very seductive, but not in a dishonest way. Seductive, more kind of like, you're like, yeah, I'd like to be around this person. They're not like super negative. They're not really hateful. They're interesting. They're funny. They're vibrant. You like to be around this person. And as this energy, we have a tendency to draw more things to us. Okay? And for some people, this could also be growing your witchcraft practice because the Queen of Wands is so strongly associated with the witch. Very good. Okay. Now the sticky cards. So in the 8 of Swords, we can see that we got this figure all bound up, right? And in the 10 of Swords, we have our poppet stabbed with dolls. The 8 of Swords and the 10 of Swords has to do with the quality of our thoughts, how we think about life, how we think about other people. Both of these are thoughts that are somewhat disempowering and not necessarily true. Now, this is never to blame ourselves. There might be many reasons, many, very justifiable reasons why we have some of these thought patterns. But this is suggesting, as these can be where we are trapped by them, then we're going to grow our awareness of where we do this to ourselves. And then we are going to grow freedom from it. And we're going to grow the lessons learned when it comes to the power of our thoughts. I mean, yeah, the 8 of Swords, you know what I love about the 8 of Swords? I've got this deck that's based on like a really old French deck, like way before Smith Rider-Waite. It's not the Tarot de Marseille, it's another one. And each card has a keyword in French that represents what it means. And the 8 of Swords in that deck says critique, so criticism. And that is something in the 8 of Swords that I find is often very present. It's where we might be like criticizing ourselves to death. It's very hard in the Queen of Wands to be out there and warm and passionate and fun and creative if in our heads Wands, we are criticizing every last thing about ourselves. It's very hard to be creative if we are just flooding our art with our criticism. Now, that doesn't mean that you like never have some kind of constructive feedback for yourself, but this would suggest that the scales are imbalanced. We've leaned too much into criticism. And the other thing with the Eight of Swords is where we sometimes, and for whatever reason, this may have helped us in the past, but it's not helping us now. We look for only problems. So if you've ever been like, oh, I really want to start my own business. And then you're like, yeah, but I'm going to have to keep my job and have a business. So I'm going to have to work a bunch and I'm going to have to get a business license. And I'm going to have to learn about taxes. I don't think I'm going to do it. It is not that those things are not true, but then also what will you get with the business? I will have independence. I'll be able to create a store that's in line with my values. I'll be able to meet really cool people. I'll be able to support a whole bunch of other artists. But then once you do is you can see those and see, are these challenges worth the solutions and the successes available to you? In the Eight of Swords, we have a tendency to avoid all of the good that could come from a situation, and we only want to see the potential problems. So it is imbalanced thinking, and that's why we feel trapped here. So then what we're growing is we want to grow empowered, balanced thinking. Once again, we might look at some art that we made and be like, that's not very good. But we can have enough humility and self-love to be like, just the first piece, I will get better and we'll do it again. Right? Or you think about, okay, I've always wanted to be a dancer. And at first you're like, well, I'd have to get so fit and I have to meet people. You think all of those Eight of Swords things. Then in this waxing moon, we're growing the awareness that, yeah, but I'll also enjoy all the physical activity and I will enjoy meeting people and I will like self-honor by creating a dream that I've always wanted. And then we'll look at the situation more wholly. Now, the Ten of Swords is what I call, along with the Ten of Wands, cycle-breaking cards. All of the tens in the minor arcana are associated with the Wheel of Fortune in the major arcana. This is because the Wheel of Fortune is the 10th card in the major. So in the minors, all the tens are the Wheel of Fortunes. Now, you see the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups. Usually, those are cycles we don't want to break. Right? The 10 of Pentacles is like happy home. There's material, not only stability, but wealth. There's a sense of our legacy being passed on. There's a sense of generations altogether. There's a sense of family harmony. And so like most of us would aim for that in some capacity, but that would be more of a culmination. We've reached some kind of success here in that card. And same with the 10 of Cups, all of the emotional harmony, all the joyful relationships, our cup is very full. And that is a cycle that we want to continue. So those I would not consider cycle breaking, more like culminations or cycles that we're in, and that's wonderful. Whereas the 10 of Wands and 10 of Swords with the Wheel of Fortune, in the Wheel of Fortune, we not only have expansion and new beginnings, very much like the new and waxing moon. In order for those to happen, we do have to let some things go. That's why on the Wheel of Fortune, we actually see Anubis, an Egyptian god associated with funerary rites and mummification and the dead. So something has to die for the new to grow. So the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords with our little puppet friend here are when we let something go. This might feel like, okay, but it's a waxing moon. So why am I letting things go? First off, nothing's like so set in stone or immovable. We can still be letting things go throughout this process. But if we are going to look at this through the lens of growth, then we are going to be focusing on the fact that whatever this represents, this puppet is done. Its magic is done. It's just, we can take it apart. We can do our ritual. It serves no purpose anymore. We can burn it, whatever. There's a new beginning. So this would be an awareness of the hurts or awareness of the betrayals, just understanding lessons there, anything that you can find. It doesn't justify or excuse, but it is just one of the paths to helping us let go of things. So in the 10 of Swords, we can just be really honest. If we have kind of blamed everyone for everything in our lives, if we have played a bit of the victim, or if we really do feel quite wronged, this would suggest though that that cycle is over, that we are ready for a new day. So what you'd want to grow is the wisdom, the lessons from this, and then grow an acceptance that it's over. I'm going to grow the acceptance that it's over. Now, because we're being asked to grow the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands is this confident, creative, magnetic creature, this might suggest that in the past, you did put yourself out there and you were shut down. Like most of us can say that to varying degrees, right? We put our art out there and a parent was like, that's stupid. We performed at school, wanted to do a good job, and everyone bullied us, right? We got the promotion at work and people turned their backs on us. We can all think of examples of where jealousy reared its ugly head and made us feel like we had to dim our lights, or the unlived dreams of others made us feel like we could not live our own. In the Ten of Swords, we're being asked to just see that as like it is a part of the human condition and experience. Let us learn the lessons. Like, for example, jealousy super sucks. So I'm going to learn for myself not to embody that essence of that which hurt me. I'm not going to pass it on, no matter how justified I feel. So that way I don't hold other people back from being the Queen of Wands. And I accept that other people's treatment towards me was a reflection of them and not me. So now I'm going to shine as that Queen of Wands. Okay, my friends? Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. I hope this was helpful. For my paid Substack subscribers, there is the guided shamanic journey to help you see in the spirit world and also grow in the spirit world what you're ready to grow, receive guidance, and send it energy there. Thank you all so much for being here. See you next time for the full moon. Take care.